Welcome back into Climbing the Summit podcast, where the ultimate summit is self-discovery, self-realization. I am your host, Danny Cobbin, and I was reflecting on this Memorial Day on a quote by Gary Vee. And the quote by Gary Vee is, "You can't read about doing push-ups. You have to do them." And I was thinking about how the mind works, because that's how my mind works. And as we climb up towards our summit, how important it is to remember to recognize that each and every time we want to do something, reading about it is one thing, learning about it is even maybe a progression on the reading on it. But ultimately, we have to go out and we have to explore. We have to go out on the learning curve of life. That's the mountain, isn't it? That's the journey. Is every time we want to do something, there is a learning curve. And of course, when we are at the tippy top of the learning curve, it feels great. It feels amazing. And we have accomplished the thing. But then it's always at that point, the journey to getting there was the fun thing. It was the unpredictability. It was the excitement. It was all of those things. And the proof is looking at champions whenever they're in the boxing arena or if they are in the MMA arena. That champion does everything in his power to get to first place. And yes, they may stay there for a little bit of time, but often that next man up is just so hungry for the thing that that person has that they are training in a different way and they're doing the different thing. It's not like the Rocky movie where you got the montage. It's almost anytime you see a montage, sidebar, usually that fighter is going to lose because you weren't working out like that to get yourself where you wanted to be. You weren't thinking about things in that way. And here we are back on track. It's when you show up to something new and exciting as a human being, you start doing the actual push-up, you start doing the actual practice, that new and excitingness, that those thoughts that are swirling around in your mind, they are filtered through our conditioning. But what is the thing that's calling us to that greatness, calling us towards our higher summit, our higher goal? What is that? That's the higher self portion of us. And when we start training, we start practicing utilizing our higher mind to interpret whatever the ego has sent to us by information data or whatever from the outside world. The moment we start doing that, that's the moment we start to see that expansion, that growth. And it's not that one thing in your life will change, right? It's not that, you're going to start making money overnight. But what will happen is you'll start to see the ways that your mind is keeping you from doing that. You'll start to see new patterns occur in your mind, new thought forms occur, that if you choose to, you can take those pathways. That all just comes from taking that moment, taking that breath, seeing the space before thought for what it is, where the creation comes from. I was reading the Glaciers book, got it right here. I was reading the Glaciers book, and one of the exercises today was watch your mind while doing a task, right? Like I talked about doing the dishes and being upset when I'm doing the dishes versus just being in the flow of doing the dishes, right? They have tangible feelings to them. But as an experiment, as a chance for you to do some research on how your own mind operates, when you do the dishes, when you do the laundry, observe your mind in real time. Now, if it's making you feel bad, don't do it, right? It's not what I want you to do. But if you're in a good space, in a good place, and you could just bear witness to your experience of, you'll get in contact with the witness, that higher mind, a higher frequency of you. The yoga philosophy would call it the Buddhi. And so, like, the higher self, that higher self, when you start to see it, when you start to investigate with it, when you start to practice paying attention to that quiet voice that's pulling you towards something greater, you'll notice that you'll come alive to your experience of life. And if that's all you want is to come alive to your experience of life, great. That's all you need. And if you want to take it a step further than just enjoying your life, what's possible when I'm enjoying my life? There's so much reality there for you. That's why I got into coaching. Not to tell you how to make more money, not to tell you how to raise your kids, but to wake you up to who and what you are at your core. And at your core, there is that something that is pulling you towards greatness. And maybe you hadn't heard it in a while. Maybe you're wondering, Danny, I understand what you're saying because it makes intuitive sense, but I don't see any science behind it. Email me. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Because once you start to see who you are when you're climbing up your summit, when you are traveling up a learning curve, when you see that it's possible to enjoy yourself, it's possible. In fact, not only possible, it's necessary that you enjoy your experience of climbing your personal summit. Will the new pathways, will the new doorways, will the new obstacles find new ways of interconnecting and deconnecting? That's what this experience of human is. Like I said, it's not magic, it's magical. Those ain't my bars. But man, they are powerful. They are powerful because it's true. We are not super because we are supermen, right? We are super because we are superhuman. Superhuman because we have the power of thought. We have the power of the mind. We have all of these tools at our disposal, but yet we often don't remember that great tool is also that piece of us that keeps us down. Quick story before we get out of here. I'm talking to Danny about these books that we got. We went to Costco a few days ago and we got these thick books, right? Like learning books for the summer. And I got Danny a pre-K and I got Ari a kindergarten. Well, they're rerunning kindergarten for a second time. So technically, the books are both right. And I recognize that I need to understand what it is my son is seeing in order to move forward. So today, we're going over his book. Mom and sister are going over words that start with a letter B, like, can you read this? Oh, right? That's where she's at. Amazing. Me and Danny, we're writing the letter A. He's like, it's going to be easy. So he circles all the A's. He's like, that's an A. Now we get to drawing the letter A. And he's like, I can't do it. And like, he's writing all these things on the page, H, like minute A. And I'm like, what do you see? Do you see where daddy's finger is? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, do you see the lines that are being drawn? He's like, yeah, I just can't do it. And I'm like, whatever part of you that is saying that is wrong. Because right here, this A right here, you did do 10 A's on the page, 1 A that he did do. But that 1 A that he did do was 1 A that he did do. We as humans, we don't pay attention to that. We pay attention to all the negativity. Oh, I messed that one up. I messed that one up. But no, but you got this one right. What happened here? So me and him, we're talking. I'm like, look, bro, I don't know what part of you is telling you that you can't do it, But right here, you did do it. So I want you to do it again here because you showed me here that you could. So sister brings over a different card. He draws the A he wants to draw, the letter A. Mom's like, yo, that's a good job, before I could say anything, because I'm trying to make sure his A is drawn the same way they draw the A, from 1 to 2, from 1 to 3, then the cross, right? He draws from the bottom and around and down and then connects. Who cares? That's a letter A. Good job. Do it again. Does it again. We then have another conversation. See, look, you drew the letter A here. He says, and then 2 more times over here. So now he's confident in his ability to do what he thought he couldn't do. That's the power of being human. Because now we go to the next page and it's like, circle the things that start with the letter A. This man is now drawing the letter A and then circling the whole thing because he's confident in himself, because he feels good about him. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this, is that once you start to practice this higher intelligence, this higher wisdom, this higher vibration, the booty, once you start seeing that the booty is there, the higher self, once you start seeing it's there, you start pouring into that, you start listening to that, right? Whether that's because somebody outside you helps you to see it, right? Like a coach, or you see it for yourself, insight. Either way, you see that, you go about it, boom. There you are. Now you're on that learning curve in a different way. And all it takes is for you to see the thought that you have repetitively damaging you. How at one point, maybe it did serve you. Maybe a year or 2 ago, it did serve Danny to be like, Daddy, I can't do that, because he couldn't. But now I know he's able to, right? Now, what I didn't recognize is he had to go his own way about doing it. But isn't that the way it works? You got to go about doing things the way you got to go about doing things. The only thing we have as human beings is our internal wisdom, our internal guidance, and our ability to use that higher self to interpret that outside data, say, oh, maybe it's not right, and then do something different. Keep climbing up your personal summit. I love you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.